The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. This is the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show. It is the fall. There's a certain crispness in the air. The Maple Leafs are back in training camp. Ryan is here in studio. You don't have to stare at our giant heads through StreamYard anymore. All is right with the world.
We are back.
We are officially back. Are you ready to strap in for another? Do you actually? It dawned on me today. It's like we're getting ready to strap in for another 82.
Yep. At the end of every single year, you always ask yourself, how can I sit through another 82? And then some time goes by. You start to forget about the past, and then you're just geared up and ready to go for another 82 games of Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Well, I said a couple weeks ago in one of our off-season StreamYard episodes that one of the best things that had to happen to the Maple Leafs for me personally was the Toronto Blue Jays. Because after a summer of watching the Toronto Blue Jays, I am ready for some Maple Leafs hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too far into that, but I know what you're saying.
So, first episode back, season premiere of season 6, I said, what are we going to do? Wait. There we go. There we go. I said, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this rolling? So, we are going to debut a new segment, which you will see from time to time this year. Not every episode, but you will see it from time to time. And it's going to be the theme of this entire show. It is time for the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show trending topics. Time for some trending topics. Ryan, are you ready?
Yes, here we go.
So we've got 5 of them here. The first trending topic, William Nylander. William Nylander needs a new contract. He did not sign one in the offseason. We talked about it throughout the offseason. He wants $10 million. The Leafs don't want to give him $10 million. Yesterday, Elliot Friedman kind of floated that in conversations between Sheldon Keefe and Brad Treliving, it was rumored that William Nylander would spend some time this season playing center. Then today, in the opening of camp media availability, Sheldon Keefe outright confirmed that William Nylander will start camp as a center iceman, which puts the Leafs center depth as Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Kampf. Your thoughts on the news that William Nylander will be starting camp at center?
I don't know, man. Okay, nice. We'll see. I'm a we'll see guy on that take.
Do you think that that this is Brad Treliving's way of being like, if you want $10 million, you need to be a 200-foot player?
No, I don't think so. I don't. I think Willie is what he is. If Brad Treliving is expecting Nylander to somehow change any part of his game for a contract, that's not happening. William Nylander's how many goals he scores, how many points he gets, his offensive capabilities are what's going to get him paid. Go out and put another 40 up. Get close to 50. Get 100 points. That it has nothing to do with him being William Nylander will never be a 200-foot hockey player. I don't know why they've just. Well, I mean, if you look at their depth, first of all, the depth of their team is not the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because this wanting to play William Nylander in the middle of the ice tells me that they have high hopes for a Matthew Nyes or a Nick Robertson to take a spot on the wing right out of camp. Because you're right. You look at the wings and you're kind of
Yeah, like
Oof.
there's like once you get past once you get to the third line, I mean, someone who's playing third line wing. Like you have Nyes down there, you have Domi, you have Bertuzzi. Like everyone's just kind of flip and find a spot.
Well,
but
I
other
think
than
Bertuzzi, I think Bertuzzi is, until Sheldon Keefe decides he doesn't like it anymore, I think Bertuzzi's on the wing with Matthews and
but
Marner.
if Nylander plays center, that's a center spot gone, and then Camp's the fourth line center, and then you look at the wing depth. Other than that, it's Callie Yarncroke, Nick Robertson, like. And then the fourth line is just Sam Lafferty and Ryan Reaves. Like, I don't, to me, this whole move is like, how many times have we talked about Sheldon Keefe changing lines and changing his mind about things? I read into this what you want about Tavares being washed or whatever. This is a nice little cute little idea they have here, but I don't buy it for a second right now.
John Tavares is a factor in this decision?
Maybe.
The Overdrive guys had a really good point. I was listening to them on my drive home today about how this is also a great sort of media deflect, because at the end of the day today, no one was talking about William Nylander's contract. Everyone was talking about the fact that he's playing center.
Well, trying to avoid the contract talk is like, it's impossible. Like, I just, you know what? Let's see what happens here. I don't think William has it in him to go 82 as a center iceman when he hasn't played full-time center ice at all in his NHL career. He's been there in spurts, but I mean, I don't buy it. I'm the don't buy it guy on this one.
Sheldon Keefe too will throw the lines in a blender pretty damn quickly.
Oh,
we've seen that happen. Yeah, we've seen that happen.
He gets so trigger happy with the lines, man. Like something doesn't work, he gets bored, and then it's all switched.
Yeah, we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen a lot. So I'm with you. Another thing on William Nylander is I actually think he's been pretty vocal with everyone he's talked to that this is where he wants to be. And I know every guy says that. So to a degree, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I actually kind of believe it with William Nylander. And I think that he will come into this season a motivated player, and you'll see the best version of him as he's playing for that big contract. Now, will the Leafs, if he goes out and has a career year, will the Leafs give him $10 million? That remains to be seen. But I know that there's a lot of hesitation. I myself said it a couple of times. Could he walk at the end of the year? And then you're losing a core piece for nothing. I don't think that that's what he wants to do. I don't get that vibe from him at all, really.
Well, then take less money then. All right, you want to stay here? Take less money. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything else. I don't care if he wants to play here. If you want to play here, you have to take less money. So if you really want to be a Leaf, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I gotta be honest with you, man. We've talked, like, if you go through, this is season 6 we're starting today, and if you go through the 200 plus episodes that you and I've done, and you counted up the amount of times that you and I both have said the word contract, I'm not really looking forward to an entire season of William Nylander's contract. I'm not.
It's gonna be the cry fest that happens when he walks for nothing. Like that's what I'm not looking forward to, is when he walks away for nothing and everyone's just cries about how they got nothing for him.
I don't know.
Take less money.
Remains to be seen, but in my opinion, the number one trending topic and the most interesting storyline heading into this Maple Leaf season is the status of William Nylander. Okay. Trending topic number 2. New faces. We have some new faces. Can I just go on a little side tangent here? Like, I don't want to get on the beat guys, okay? Like, I don't. I'm not a beat guy. You're not a beat guy. We have no idea what it's like to be there every day, and I'm sure there's a ton of politics around it and what have you. So, like, I don't want to get on these guys. I don't do their job. I don't know how to do their job. But I did find it a little cringe. How many times today when you listen to them interviewing the players? Is Ryan Reaves gonna be the guy who cracks jokes and makes the room a little bit more fun? Like, oh my God. Like, come on. It's just like,
well, you know,
so cringe. I'm like, I was like, oh, stop asking that. That's so lame.
Revo will, Revo obviously is a guy who is going to wreak havoc in front of the net, and he's obviously going to make things later in the room. And it's like, all right, boys. Like,
no
Jesus.
one's more excited that Ryan Reaves is here than me. Like, honestly, no one's more excited that he's here than me. But like the giggling about the comment he made about Radko Gudas on Monday at the golf tournament, where he was like, "Yeah, I'd like to see him try that with me." It's like, but you won't be on the ice. That was game 5 of the second round. You'll be up in the press box. It's like, again, love him. So happy he's here. You won't be on the ice. And just the whole, like, this media thing about, like, I have no doubt that you brought a guy, like you said it a few months ago. You're bringing in a guy who immediately has the biggest dick in the room. That's true. But I just thought, like, I don't know, just the giggling today about, like, is he going to change is he going to make it a bit more fun, Mitch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know. And they sit up there and they give their answers that they always give, but it's like, what are they supposed to say?
Obviously.
I thought Morgan Riley, like, handled the one question pretty well when they asked about this, how, like, the dressing room hasn't been, what was the word they used? Where they refer to the dressing room as something.
The whole narrative has been the dressing room like, they need more accountability in the dressing room, and that's why Ryan Reaves is here.
Or, like, they need to, like, lighten up, or it's been, like, too serious or something. I don't know. And I thought he handled the question very well. He was just like, no, I don't think that at all. And he actually gave a real answer for once. So that was nice to see. But for the most part, all the player interviews were quite snoozy for me. I got nothing out of any of them at all, other than John Tavares handling the Babcock question pretty good. But
John Tavares, in his opening remarks, said the word "obviously" 12 times.
I mean, what are they supposed to say? Like, they're up there, like, all the B guys are gonna ask all the silly questions, and it is what it is. So what questions are they really supposed to ask? Like, it's just what is the first day really about? Like,
it's about fitness testing.
I know, but it's like all these media guys, I feel bad for them because they have to come up with questions. But it's like, what are the questions other than William Nylander's contract or who's playing on what line or whatever? Other than that, like
I said, I don't want to get on the beat, guys.
No, I feel bad for them because they got to come up with questions. They come up with a question and one guy's already asked it, so now they got to think of something. Like Tree Living just totally dusted Jonas Siegel today when he asked about Matt Murray's injury.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, you know what, Jonas, he's having surgery.
Yeah,
all right, thanks. Yeah.
I kind of felt bad for him.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
New faces. Let's keep it going. So, as I said to you earlier, I think right off the bat, you can put Tyler Bertuzzi as the top line left winger. I think, like, it's pretty much any sort of projected lineup I've seen has him on the wing with Matthews and Marner. That to me, that's really exciting. That's the type of guy that you've wanted up there with them for a while. Like a guy who has some skill and can score, but also is not afraid to go stand in front of the net and take a shot. And then Max Domi. I have no idea where Max Domi looked like a legend at the golf tournament with no chiclets, like just completely his front teeth are gone. I have no idea where he's going to slot. I don't know if it's second line on the wing. I don't know if it's third line on the wing. I don't know if it's third line center. I don't know, because he played some center when he was with the Habs. I don't know where he's going to slot. You and I talked about this after free agency. My biggest thing with Max Domi is it's going to be such a rush coming out there and wearing your dad. His dad is a living legend in this town. And it's going to be such a rush, and just, you're not your dad. Don't try and be your dad. Just play your game and find us a role, find a spot. Like, I do think also with Max Domi, some of he's a tough guy is a bit overblown. It's like, no, he's a tough player who's not afraid to take a shot, but he's not going out there to drop the mitts. And that's not what we need him to do. That's why Ryan Reaves is here. So I just hope somebody gets to him and says, go out there, play your game, be yourself. That's all we want from you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have high expectations for him. And honestly, I don't really have high expectations for any of the new guys, actually, other than just to play with a little more physicality. All my expectations are on the players who've already been here for 1,000 years, who need to go out and prove that they're worth the money that they're getting paid. Tyler Bertuzzi, as long as he comes in and contributes with some goals and plays hard, I'm fine with that. Max Domi, he's not going to get a shitload of goals, but if he comes in and plays a little tougher, I'm okay with that. My expectations are all on the guys who've already been on the team.
Another new face, and we will use this to transition into the next trending topic, Defense Corps. Another new face, John Klingberg. The polarizing acquisition. A lot of people who were like, what the hell are you doing getting this guy?
From all the people who've watched all these John Klingberg games over the past couple seasons.
You go on Twitter, there are John Klingberg experts everywhere. Oh, yeah. They're everywhere. They've seen every shift. Oh,
yeah. All the people just staying up and watching every shift of him in Anaheim last year.
Oh, they know.
Shut up.
Give
the guy a chance, for God's sake.
He's a big dude and he can shoot the puck. He's a big dude. He can shoot the puck. He's got offensive upside. His numbers, analytically, he was the worst defenseman in hockey last year. But to your point, the Anaheim Ducks were an awful hockey team.
Yeah, we didn't get Scott Niedermayer here. It's just a guy who can skate and a guy who can probably replace Morgan Riley on the power play. As much as I love Morgan Riley, the guy is not the most elite power play defense quarterback. People just give the guy a chance, man. Calm down. This part of the year drives me insane. Just all this conversation, which is going back to what you just said about the beat guys, and you got to cut them a break, because it's just I don't really have an opinion on anything. We have to just ride these couple weeks out and just see what happens day one. I'm not going to sit here and over criticize any new guy here for anything they've done in their past, because we have a brand new clean slate ready to go October 11th. So you can cry about John Klingberg, but in my opinion, just shut up and just wait for him to put on the uniform and see what he does. Because Game 3, Game 4, when he's contributing and you're sitting there being like, John King, he's got to be in the top pair. Then don't come back at me. Or if he does play like shit, then you can come back at me and call me an idiot. But I'm not defending him here. I'm just saying, just leave the guy alone. Give the guy a shot.
Well,
let him do what he. Let him, for all the Nylander people out there who say let him do what he does. Let this guy do what he does.
Well, I think your point about all these people who all of a sudden know everything there is to know about John Klingberg and have watched every shift he's ever taken is well made. People just come out with these really strong opinions about a player they've never seen before.
Yeah, and all of them hate him because of a calculator. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a fair point.
Whatever.
Brad Treliving said today that he thinks his defense corps is underrated, and I said,
yeah, he was being nice.
You sure about that, Brad? You sure about that? Yeah. This is by far my biggest concern with this team heading into this season. I just you were there you were in the building for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, and you saw what the Vegas Golden Knights defense looked like. That is not what this is. This is not. Is this a defense that can play well on a Wednesday night in February against Arizona? Yes. Is this a defense core that when you get into the trenches in a playoff series can play the way the Stanley Cup champion defense core played? Absolutely not. And I just don't. I think they're really, really, really rolling the dice here if they think let's just sit back and watch it. Maybe it'll be better than we think. Brad, I'm really happy you're here. Ryan and I were texting today saying that we enjoyed Brad Treliving's media availability.
The guy gives a way better presser than Dubas.
Well, he comes off way less smarmy than Kyle Dubas. Yeah. Way less. He comes off more genuine and likable, and Dubas came off really smarmy and know-it-all.
Yeah.
But Brad, my dude, if you think that this group of guys is going to be better than what we all think it's going to be, I don't think that. I
don't think he thinks that either. But what was he supposed to come out and sewer all his players day one at training camp?
No, but you're gonna have to make an in-season deal of some kind if you.
Yeah, that's not. It is what it is. They're just gonna have to hope it meshes and plays well and plays good enough to.
And you need we just talked about John Klingberg. and like maybe the guy will be better than you think and give him a chance. A guy who's I think's really got to step up this year's Timothy Liljegren. I thought he had a pretty good season and looked good at times during the regular season last year, but towards the end of the season he kind of tailed off, and Sheldon Keefe is really, really hard on Timothy Liljegren, and he barely saw any time in the playoffs. And he's a guy like you have to take a step this year. You have to be in their top 4 this year. Like if we're 2 months into the season and he's a third pairing guy, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't. It's just not. I don't know what to say about it. Like, I've always liked Morgan. Morgan's just been a part of this program for so long that he just kind of is what he is. He's here. He played outstanding in the playoffs. He didn't have a great regular season by his own admission. I've never been a TJ Brody fan ever. I thought he was garbage last year. He's only getting older. He can be reliable. He can eat minutes. He is a very useful defenseman, but not ideally a guy you want in your top pair. He can move the puck okay. He's not physical. You have Jake McCabe coming back, who I like Jake McCabe, but he's also just kind of there. You know, he doesn't do anything special. He's a bigger body, but he's not super physical. He's not a tough guy.
Mark Giordano, heart of gold, but a million years old.
Ran out of gas at the end of the year, which is totally fine. It's not like I was expecting anything from him. And Liljegren was kind of a jam last year with some other defensemen who were playing on the team, and they kind of had too many guys for too many spots at the end, and he kind of felt the consequences of that. And then the worst hockey player ever to play in the NHL, John Klingberg. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's not, I'm not super stoked about it, but they got to the second round last year. They didn't lose because of their defense. They lost because all their forwards went to sleep. And so, like, I think they're good enough to make a run in the playoffs. Can they win a cup? I don't know. But I think it's a D-core that is good enough. It's not like they're going to lose the first round. They've never lost a playoff series solely because of their D-core. Yeah. They've lost playoff series because their top players don't show up. So I don't think it's going to kill them. It's just they're not a Stanley Cup favorite in my eyes because of that. Because that's one thing you can point at, being like their D-core is maybe not as good. But look over in Edmonton, like they're a Cup favorite, and they don't have a defense core either. So I think it's good enough to do something in the playoffs. It's not something we're all sitting back being like, oh my God, this D-core, it's amazing. It doesn't look great on paper, but I do think it's good enough to do something.
Trending topic number 4, goaltending. We got Ilya Samsonov, we got Joe Woll, and we got Martin Jones. I'm pretty sure Martin Jones is here to try and push Joe Woll a little bit in camp, and also in the event one of them gets hurt, you have an NHL.
Not if.
Yeah,
when one of them gets hurt.
You have an NHL caliber goalie. Here's the problem, though. Martin Jones has to clear waivers. And he ain't clearing waivers. Some other team's grabbing him at $875. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. I think I wouldn't be surprised if out of camp, Jones and Samsonov are the 2 goalies they have with them. And then Woll comes along in the year and sort of takes the reins into the year and slowly becomes the number 1 guy. Because you remember, Joe Woll looked really good at moments last year, but he's still never done it. He wasn't. Sheldon Keefe reminded me today he wasn't in training camp last year. He's with an injury. He's first full camp, and this is like you need Ilya Samsonov to have repeat the year he had last year, which I think is going to be tough. I don't. What do you think? I don't.
He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
he just has to stay healthy. I think he's good enough to repeat the year. I think they're a good enough team to give him that ability to have a repeatable year. It's just he has to just stay healthy. That's all I care about. I think he's a good enough goalie to have a good year. Just he needs to stay healthy. And I like the wishful side of me wants Joe Woll to take a step, because it's just like everyone wants that goalie who is developed, who's young or young-ish for a goalie, and take that step. But at the same time, it's like one of those guys are getting hurt at some point, and the options after that are quite soft. So it's just That's a tough one. I don't know what you do. I have no idea what you do. I like what Tree Living said today about bringing in a goalie with some gray hair on him. I like having him here. It's a name. He's played a ton of games in the league. He'd be a great backup option, but you do want your young goalie, as Brad said, also to take that step and grab a hold of a spot here. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be in this spot to make that decision because it's just one of them. We've seen it. Like we've seen Michael Hutchinson play games for this team. We've seen who's the other guy they had? Who was the other Swedish goalie who played a bunch of games for them? I can't remember his name, but yeah, like it's just you don't want that situation where your goalies are injured and then you have nobody.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think in an ideal world, you hope Joe Wall kind of takes the ball and runs with it, but he's still an inexperienced goalie. And he's still like, I don't know. I agree with you. I like the Martin Jones insurance policy. Ryan is Googling who the Swedish goalie was.
How do you not know his name? How do you not know who I'm talking about? You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
You know exactly who I'm talking about. He's played a shitload of games for them. What's his name?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Is he not with them anymore?
No. Shulgren.
Shulgren. Yeah.
See, I thought I didn't know Shulgren's still in the organization. I thought that you were talking about some guy that they like brought in at some point. I'm like some Swedish guy that they brought in. No, Eric Shulgren.
Shulgren played a shitload of games for them.
Yeah, no, he's still with them, and he's all right. Like,
is he still with them?
He's a guy you could. I think Eric Shulgren's still with him. He's a guy you can bring up.
I feel like I should know this, but
he's a guy you can bring up in the.
God, my memory is just. I don't know how. Like sometimes I listen to these.
Who is currently playing with the New Jersey Devils?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. So
stupids.
I know.
Couple of stupids right here.
Sit here and react like we're experts. We don't even know they're fucking dead.
Well, I mean, if you watched us for long enough, you know that you and I are the furthest thing from experts. Like we are not experts.
Yeah.
By any means.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is you don't want a situation where Eric Shulgren has to play a shitload of games for you.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. So it's a tough decision. I have no idea what you do. No idea. Good luck, whoever has to make that decision.
Trending topic number 5. Sheldon Keefe. You and I were both vocal that we were not huge fans of retaining Sheldon Keefe and bringing him back. It kind of is what it is now. I honestly have no idea what to make of this because on the one hand, I do think to a degree he does have he will have kind of a new lease on life with respect to not having Kyle Dubas here anymore. But you've made the point a bunch of times that like if you're a guy in that room and he walks in there and all of a sudden is like, I'm a hard ass now because Kyle's not here anymore. You're sitting there and you're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like this whole offseason I've kind of just contradicted myself through every episode we've done throughout the entire summer. But today was truly a day for me where I just kind of let all my anger go and just the time that's passed in the offseason really does wonders for your mentality going into a season.
And the Toronto Blue Jays.
So it's today I let everything go. I'm not even thinking about
Ryan,
anybody's contract now.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm having this like deja vu moment. I bet you if we check the tape from the season premiere of last year, you're saying the exact same thing. I know. Where you're
it's an experiment on the mind. Time heals all. It really does. Like hockey's been gone for so long, and you're right. I've been watching the Jays all year, and like it's not that I hate the Jays, just like they're kind of ready for hockey to start again. I miss it. I miss watching it. It's I love watching it. They drive me insane. We're gonna come on here and complain all the time, of course. Why wouldn't I? But I love sitting down and trying to get as much of 82 in as I possibly can. I usually get pretty close, but. It's just, I've been so angry about so many things that eventually, as a human being, you just have to let go of your anger towards anything. And for me, it's the anger towards the coach. It's the anger towards the players making too much money. It's the anger towards all the failure in the playoffs. But today is the best day of the year for me because you have hope. It's the day of hope. Everybody thinks they're going to win the Stanley Cup today. Everyone has a shot to make the playoffs today. And that kind of like hit me as in like they got all these new guys. At the end of the day, they're still a really good team. I really want them to win the division this year. I think they can do it.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to hit on one more thing, and it's something you've mentioned a couple of times. We as a fan base, because of the way it's gone in the last few years, like the attitude going into this, it's like, you're right, it's hope, it's whatever. But the attitude is very much call me in April. Let's see what you do in April. But no, I'm with you. Like, I think we need to go into this season with the expectation, like, let's win the division. Like, this team, like, they won the Canadian division. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, it's...
That year is erased from my memory.
Yeah. Like, whoop-de-fucking-do.
That
like,
year is erased from my memory.
They've never won the Atlantic Division, and you look around the division, it's like the Bruins, on paper, should not be the same team this year that they've been in previous years. They shouldn't be. The Lightning... The Leafs proved last year they can play with the Lightning and beat the Lightning and hang with the Lightning. The Florida Panthers, I do not see the Florida Panthers coming out like a house on fire this year. Could they make the playoffs and go on a run?
Barely
like
made
they
the
did
playoffs last year.
Yeah, could they? Listen, do I think they'll hang around and be a perennial playoff team? Yes, I do. But like, I don't think the Florida Panthers are going to be some powerhouse. And then you've got teams like the Senators and the Sabres who are going to have better years. And then you have the bottom feeders in the division who I think are going to be the Habs and the Red Wings. So,
yeah, but to me, this is a year where we shouldn't even be relying on other teams getting worse. Like, they should just flat out be the best team. I don't care if any other team is weaker or better. No, just be the best team in the division. Win the division. Get that wild card team. Like, let's go, boys. Like, for a team that's so great in the regular season, we've never won an Atlantic Division title.
No.
Let's go. Let's win one here.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll come on next week. I'll completely contradict everything I said right now because that's just who I am as a fan of this team. But day one, everyone has hope, man. Everyone's going to win the cup.
Everyone's going to win the cup. Ryan Reaves is going to make jokes in the room, and it's
going to make
everybody really happy.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
You know what? That comment you made earlier about how Reaves won't be on the ice. I know who made that comment, and I thought that was a stupid comment. Like,
he won't be.
Yeah, but he will be on the ice to make sure. Ryan Reaves is running around like a clown for 5 games.
Yeah, I know that.
We're
but
not
he won't
talking
be...
about one game. Who's gonna play then? Who's gonna play?
So
who's gonna take his spot?
Okay, it's true. You're right.
I just don't. That comment pissed me off.
I just don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll. He didn't play for the Wild last year, really, in the postseason.
I don't care. He's not gonna. It's not like he's not gonna be on the ice.
There's an argument to be made.
Games.
There's an argument to be made, and I agree. Where like it's
such a smart guy comment.
The team's been so soft that he's almost like it's almost like a necessity that he's on the ice.
Yeah,
because they need his physical presence out there. But listen, Ryan Reaves is going to provide a ton of fun in the regular season specifically. Like, there's going to be games, like, even in the division, like, there's going to be games against the Bruins where him and Lucic are going to go. When they play the Lightning, Tanner Jeannot is going to be running around, and he's going to go with Tanner Jeannot. Like, that's going to be... there's going to be a Saturday night game against Boston, and in the first period, him and Lucic are going to drop the gloves, and you're going to be like, oh, hell yeah, let's do this.
I mean, I'm looking at the depth chart right now. I don't know who's replacing him in that spot other than Pontus Holmberg. Like, like
Noah Gregor, he's on a PTO.
I don't know. I do believe him. It's like that idiot was running around for 5 games and nobody was doing a goddamn thing about it. I know
he yelled and Joe Austin, but you know what? That guy. They wanted to sign him, and he said he didn't want to come here because he didn't want to be in the media spotlight. Yeah. Like, you're scared, right, Kogutis? You're a scared boy.
Yeah, no, it should be. He will, like, when he beats somebody's ass, it's going to be very satisfying. Yes. I think that's why everyone today was like, Because everyone wants to see him beat somebody's ass. Everyone loves seeing a guy kick another guy's ass when he deserves
you
it.
You saw how we all felt for like
we've been getting pushed around like a bunch of pussies for 6 years. I know he sucks at hockey, but like at least he's gonna go bash some guy's face in at some point.
You saw how giddy we all got for like a month and a half of Luke Schenn last year. Yeah. And now this guy is legitimately the toughest guy in the league.
Yeah. So, like, that's why I understand. It wasn't the media being like, are you guys going to have fun? It's the media who's really excited to actually see this guy beat somebody's face.
To watch, to when John Tavares, the captain of your team, is getting manhandled in front of the net and you all just skate away with your head down. How many times
have I seen Pierre Ringfall just get pushed around like a pussy?
Yeah.
Like, it's elite. I'm excited to see this guy bash somebody's face in.
All right, buddy. I think that's going to do it. Episode 1 of season 6 in the books. We're going to be back every week, full-time schedule here. We ain't going anywhere.
So rusty.
We've got, can I tell you something?
So rusty. Today was a challenge.
Preseason is way too long. Like I was looking at this calendar today. I'm like 3 weeks of preseason?
Yeah.
Especially early preseason.
I hate preseason bunch of guys, talk too.
I know. Where it's like a bunch of guys where it's like, oh, this like
you spend 3 weeks talking about something that's going to change within a week of the season. It's just like, I know we're all just trying to create content around here, but it gets boring.
But nevertheless, we will be here for all 3 weeks of the preseason. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. Strap in, folks. Let's do this.